Hey everybody, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to work with one of the gel press prints that I made in a recent video. I'll try to make sure that I link it below in the description box. So you may have watched me make all of these prints in a quick little session that I had. And I was going through them and a few folks commented that they wanted to see what I was going to do with them. So I decided I was going to work with this one. Originally my thought was this guy, but then I had an idea with this one. So let's move these others. And I don't know about you, but when I start making things, sometimes I just make for the sake of making. I just want to play with new dies, or I want to color new stamps. And I don't necessarily have a plan with it. I mean, you guys know if you watch my videos that I often don't have a plan. But I was working with the Real Color die set from Spellbinders, and I made this, and my intention was that I was going to have this kind of hanging off the edge, which is why I didn't put any colors over here. But the die set has this, which is kind of like an old school viewfinder, and then all of these little kind of wonky squares that you can do whatever you want with. Excuse me. And I decided that I was going to color them with my Captain Pooler ink. So you can see here, I started with Samba. So that's Samba. And I just went in rainbow order. And I colored a bunch. See? And then I ended up with, I guess it was Lime Ricky. I didn't use all of my colors, but I used a nice smattering of them. Again, I was going to cut this off. And I thought it looked kind of cool with this. So you never know. If you make something, you're like, oh, I like it, but I don't really know what I'm going to do with it yet. That's okay. Because sometimes it's just good to have those things. Another example, if I can grab them, I made a bunch of these little washi tapes. This is another die set from Spellbinders. This is from the Crafty Babe collection. And I made like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these. And I love them so much. They're so cute. I used the Just Sayin' papers by Kelly Bangs with them. But they're so freaking cute. I just haven't made anything with them yet. I'm just not sure how I want to use them. I played around with them a little bit and nothing was quite gelling. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to wait. So I waited with this Real Color die set. And look, I think it looks pretty cool with this. And then I grabbed this Color My World stamp set from Fawn. And we're going to use that for our sentiment. So it's just pulling different things together. Sometimes you get inspiration, sometimes you don't. You never know when you're going to use something. Just keeping those things on hand is a great thing to do. So we're going to trim this guy down, and then we'll get to making our card. So if you haven't watched the other video, I made this with acrylic paint and heart-shaped bubble wrap. You can see that there are some little hearts in here. They're actually all hearts, but some of them don't look as heartish as others. But you can see it very plainly in some of these here. So that's what I used. And I think it came out really fun. We're just going to remove this white border completely so that we can really see what we're working with. Okay, perfect. And then this piece, this large piece, we can use for another print at another time. All right, so we've got this here. And I've got this frame that my son 3D printed for me. The interior is 4 by 5 1/4 so that I can isolate something that I'm working with so I can see exactly what area I want to use. I kind of like this here with this extra bit of paint, so I think we're going to use that. And I really like how these hearts look. Not as many hearts here, so I think we're going to go like that. That's going to be the plan. So I'm going to first trim this down to 5 1/4. And then I'm going to trim off this side to 4 inches. And then we still have these pieces that we can use at another time on another project. Okay, I chose Strawberry VersaFine Clair ink for our sentiment. And I want to, usually I work on the sentiment as like one of the last things, but because I'm not exactly sure how I want to cut this reel down just yet, I figured we'd stamp the sentiment. I'm going to fussy cut it out. I don't have the die set for this, so you really don't need it. We're going to just do a loose fussy cut around the edge, and it's going to look just fine. I'm probably going to ink it with one of these colors that I used from Catherine Pooler, just to give it a little bit more interest. That's perfect. Okay, and now we will cut this. I'm going to just, again, a loose fussy cut, holding my scissor in my right hand because I'm right-handed. And I'm going to, instead of moving the scissor, I'm really just moving the cardstock. And I'm going to give it a bit of a border, but not too crazy. And I do think that coloring the edge with one of these colors here is going to look really nice. Maybe we'll do the whole thing. I don't know. Okay. The nice thing about VersaFine Clairs is that they dry, they don't smudge. They're pigment inks, but they don't really smudge. But I'm going to heat set it really quickly anyway, just to make sure that it's not going to smudge when we ink blend on top. Okay, now that that's taken care of, I've got my Catherine Pooler swatches here, and I was thinking I would do one of the yellows, and I'm thinking I really like the Tiara. The Limoncello is good too, but I think I want to go with the Tiara. So I've got that, and I'm going to grab my little blending brushes from Waffle Flower. Got my darker side here, and I'm going to just, these are angled. This is the shader +1. Let me zoom in for you. Okay. And I'm going to just kind of flick in. See that? So I've got the brush with the point that's lowest. Okay. This here at the top. And I'm going to just flick inward. Just like that. And that's going to give me nice color without any harsh lines. It's going to be nice and quick. If we feel like we need to add a little bit more color in the middle, we can add a different color or maybe go a little lighter in the center. But I actually don't mind that bit of white there. Okay, that looks good. Nice. All right, so again, I don't want to hide this. I think that that looks kind of cool like that. Let me grab my card base. We're definitely going to need to color that edge. I think we'll do that first. I want to use a green. So we're going to grab, where's my swatch? We're going to grab that Lime Reiki. Although, you know what? I think it's Melon Ice, this last one. Yeah, that last one's Melon Ice. So I think we're going to use that. Let's go with that one. I'm going to use a bigger blending brush for this, because we're going to go around the edge. And if you want to go directly to the cardstock with your ink pad, you can, but I don't want it to be quite so heavy. So I'm going to just quickly ink blend like this. All right, that's all done. So now I'm going to go like that, and I like it. Do I want the viewfinder to go to the edge of the card? I think I do. Or the mat here. I think that I want it to go off the edge. I changed my mind. I don't want to, because it's going to be the only thing hanging off the edge of the card, and I think it's going to look weird. So maybe not weird, but it's not what I want to do. So I am going to start by gluing this piece down. So we'll do that real quick, and then we'll put our sentiment on. We'll trim this frame, and then we'll see what else we need, if anything. Okay, so go like this, kind of go like that, have that hanging off a little bit. Magnets to hold things in place. Those are from Glassboard Studio, along with my magnetic glass mat. And I think that that looks good there. I want to pop that up there. So I'm going to add some foam tape to the back. I've got some 1mm foam tape from scrapbook.com. Foam strips, excuse me. I'm going to remove the release paper. See how I have a little bit of that hanging off the edge there? I'm going to just curve it around so that I don't waste it. There's just no reason to. There we go. These strips are great. I use them all the time. They cut really well. The release paper comes off nice and easily. It's good stuff. Okay, a little bit more, and then we'll be good. And by that point, our glue should be pretty dry. Okay, I'm gonna put that there. I like that this is near this, which is the same color. All right, and now we're going to just trim this right along the edge. You can use a paper cutter if you want. I just find it easier to use a scissor. There we go. Look at that. So cute. Yeah, see, I think that was the right move to have it coming off the edge of the paper instead of the card base. That is so fun. Okay, more glue. I don't really think that we need much more for this, guys. I think that this is going to be pretty done. And I think that the hearts are perfect. It's like a subtle love ya kind of thing, right? Without it being too lovey-dovey, right? I could totally see this giving this to my husband, but I could also see giving it to a crafty friend. You know, hearts don't always have to be romantic. And I feel like these are playful and fun where they're not necessarily romantic. This is so cute, you guys. I don't want to do anything else to it. I think it's good just the way it is. That was nice and quick, right? I mean, granted, some of this was done beforehand, but I think that that is really cute. So if you make something and it's not working at the time, or you just feel like making things just for the sake of making, keep them close by. You never know when you're going to get that like light bulb moment where it's like, oh, that works with this. I made this 3 months ago, but I can finally use it. It'll happen. You'll wind up finding a purpose for it, I promise. So that's it for me. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back very soon with another video. Be well, stay safe. Peace out.